In this video we're going to look at the handling of finances in Gateway. This is done under Configuration, under the Income and Expenditure button. The students' costs are being accumulated, and once they're accumulated you're free to move on to any of the 4 tabs here. This explanation details how the financial system works. You can put income details here just by typing them in. Gateway expenditure can arise in 2 areas. Firstly, overhead costs. These are added through this tab here, as we'll see shortly. These are costs which don't relate to specific students. They are specified via the overhead cost screen through this tab. The second area of expenditure is student-specific costs, and these can now be entered in 2 ways. Firstly, they can be entered through the individual student screen against their placements and courses, or they can be entered in bulk figures under the 3rd tab above, Student Expenditure Bulk. And a summary of the whole thing is shown on the Income and Expenditure report. So we've covered the first tab where you enter your income details. That's very simple. Under Overhead Expenditure, expenditure can be categorized on these areas. And to enter an entry, you simply click in the left or the right hand column here. So let's go into clothing, click in there, click in here for the date, which you can then edit, put in the amount and put in the details. If you have an order number, you can put it in. If it's been paid, click in there and yes will come up, and if you have an invoice number, put that in there. You can put in several rows, you can put in a number of rows. Once you finish, click Proceed, and that amount is shown here. If you wish to go back and edit previously entered amounts, click on the area and the various amounts entered can be shown. Let's say these have been paid now, and proceed. The total expenditure on overhead so far is $710. Let's turn now to student expenditures, which are done in bulk. This works in exactly the same way, and we can see that we put in a $13 charge. We can't see what it's for, but let's say it was for a taxi. And now let's put in some purchase of equipment and clothing, and we'll say on this date we spent an amount of $134 on raincoats, and we have an order number, and it hasn't been paid yet, and we don't have an invoice number. We'll proceed, and you can see the totals go in here. Now these totals, and the ones from overhead expenditures, and the totals from individual students are all transferred to the income and expenditure summary. In the first column we can see the headings of the overhead entries that we've made. In the second column you see the totals that have come in from students, and if we click on one we'll see these are the students involved, these are the items, and the total was $98. Click on an area and you can see the breakdown of the costs involved. These are the assessment ones. You can't edit these in this position. These are entered via individual students. You can edit overheads by going to the Overhead tab. You can enter students' bulk costs via the Student Expenditure Bulk tab. The totals are shown, the balance against budget shown, and you can print this page.